in my wrist, I got time today. Becky coming, Becky coming. Right.
Guys, hello, welcome back to my YouTube channel. I am Geneva. This is Geneva in General. And the bombs just keep dropping, okay? Again, the WNBA is having a very chaotic off-season when it comes to these free agencies and these trade deals, okay? It's crazy. Just yesterday, or the other day rather, Indiana Fever got DeWanna Bonner. Drum roll, now, it's just been announced about 2 hours ago, they are now going to snatch up Sydney Colson from the Las Vegas Aces. And their latest, but will it be the greatest, trade. This is an article from Sports Illustrated titled Fever add former WNBA champion Sydney Colson in latest free agency move. Okay, again, she was with the Las Vegas Aces under Becky Hammon when they won the championship back to back. Okay, they repeated it in a consecutive row. It reads, the Indiana Fever have been extremely active in acquiring high caliber players to the roster for their 2025 season. Over the past week or so, they've re-signed Kelsey Mitchell, traded for Sophie Cunningham, and acquired Natasha Howard and DeWanna Bonner in free agency. However, even after all of these moves, the Fever still seemingly needed a backup point guard for Caitlin Clark, assuming they weren't going to resign Erica Wheeler. It didn't take them long to find the preferred person, as ESPN insider Alexa Filippo broke news on February 4th with a Twitter post that wrote, breaking two times WNBA champion Sydney Colson is signing a one-year deal with the Indiana Fever. Her agent, Live Sports Gina Paradiso, told ESPN. And she quotes, Colson, who spent the last 3 seasons in Las Vegas, brings veteran pedigree and experience in the backcourt to a surging Fever squad. While Colson's stats don't jump off the page, yeah, it's true, guys. I'm going to talk about it here in a little bit, because I was like, what? Out of all the talent in Las Vegas, out of all the talent in the WNBA, period, I ain't gonna lie. I'm not trying to shade the girl. I like her personality. She's very funny and humorous, charming. But Sydney Colson for the Indiana Fever, I'm like, what can she do for Caitlin Clark, even as a point guard, and just do for the Indiana Fever to elevate them as a whole? Because again, her past 2024 current WNBA stats, it just does not, it leaves a lot to be desired. So she does many things that don't show up on the stat sheet. She's a serviceable 3-point shooter, 37.8% last season, is also an extremely solid defender. Yeah, it's true. Like her defense, again, like she was locking Caitlin Clark up. And somebody made some jokes and some comments. It was like, if you look at this current Indiana Fever roster, snatching up these players, they said that it's obvious that they're bringing players aboard who was locking up Caitlin Clark on defense. Okay, DeWanna Bonner, okay, during the playoffs, that lateral length, okay, Caitlin Clark couldn't do nothing with her. They said Sydney Colson used to lock her up. Natasha Howard, I'm not really sure about. Again, Sophie Cunningham, they say, aka the MAGA Barbie joke, it's like she's going to fit right in. But if they would have got Dejanay Carrington, imagine Dejanay Carrington on the same team as Caitlin Clark. That would be something, okay? Again, Caitlin Clark, her offensive skills as a guard, and then Dejanay Carrington's defensive skills as a guard, they would go crazy, okay? But again, it is what it is. I'm happy that Dejanay Carrington, she said it's time for me to spread my wings. Okay, Dallas, Texas is where it all started for me, and I'm glad that they're giving me another chance. And she with her boo, okay, her girlfriend Alyssa Smith, who was once an Indiana Fever. But Colson is best known for her hilarious personality and charisma, which is shown by her notorious social media presence. From the outside looking in, she appeared to be a glue player for the Aces over the past 3 seasons, which perhaps contributed to them winning 2 WNBA championships while she was there. Now, Colson can bring that larger-than-life persona to the Indiana Fever, which will add a fascinating new wrinkle to their already excellent team culture. Again, guys, now let's talk about these game stats, okay? Again, all you got to do is go to ESPN.com, type in Sydney Colson. It'll show you her 2024 regular season stats. And this is what it was. She averaged, guys, again, this is averages per game. She averaged 2.5 points, 0.5 rebounds, 1.0 assists, and 0.5 steals. And this is who the Indiana Fever decided to, give a 1-year contract deal to. And it's like, again, Sydney Colson, she's great on defense. And a lot of people was complaining about her last season. They said, why is it that Becky Hammon is just like diminishing her minutes? And it's true. Like I noticed that when Sydney Colson would be on the floor, she kind of changes the mood and atmosphere on that floor because of her defensive skills, her defensive capabilities, right? And it's like, they was like, did she get caught trying to sleep with Becky Hammon wife or something? I'm like, what is the beef between them? Because it's like Becky Hammon refused to give Sydney Colson minutes. It didn't matter, right? And it's like, again, her average stats for the past season, again, is 2.5 points per game, 0.5 rebounds, 1.0 assists, 0.5 steals. It's like, is it because her minutes were so diminished, her playing time was so diminished, or is it because like she was just really struggling? You see what I'm saying? Or you could just look at it like the glass half full instead of half empty. And say, like, you know what? She just has better defensive capabilities than offensive capabilities. Which again, Stephanie White is now the head coach of the Indiana Fever, and she is a very much a defensive coach. She even said, like, she's like, you know what, Caitlin Clark and the rest of the Fever girls, y'all gonna be some defensive monsters out there. And it seems as though, you know what, Stephanie White's like, you know what, DeWanna Bonner, the way she was locking Caitlin Clark up like a criminal, like a smooth criminal. We need Sydney Colson also to give us those defensive capabilities. But again, just looking at her past 2024 regular season stats, I was literally shocked. Okay, when I got the news, I'm like, what? When the alert dropped, I'm like, why in the world would Indiana Fever? Like, how much cap space do they got? I'm like, this is crazy. But again, guys, also she's a veteran. Okay, she's a veteran, two-time champion. She's not a rookie, so she has that, you know, that leadership capability. She knows how to be a floor general and guide the players around her, which again, that's a huge asset. So I guess it kind of does balance out, you know, the reasoning behind why Indiana Fever is like, you know what, let's acquire Sydney Colson to try to get us to a championship ring. Guys, with all the latest and greatest trades that have happened to Indiana Fever, again, they got DeWanna Bonner, now Sydney Colson, Sophie Cunningham, Natasha Howard. They re-signed Kelsey Mitchell, Mrs. I got to do what's best for me, and I'm very excited to go into free agency. This will be my first time. I've only been to Indiana Fever. They dangled that carrot in front of her. They put some money on the table. She was like, you know what, never mind. I was just playing. I love Indianapolis. Who don't love the Midwest? I love the Midwest. Again, Kelsey Mitchell's from Cincinnati, Ohio, because she just stayed away from her family, her people, her folks. I'm from Columbus, Ohio. She an Ohio girly. I'm an Ohio girly. The Indiana Fever, Kathy Engelbert, the powers that be in the women's basketball, the basketball goddesses, they are trying to do whatever it takes to get Caitlin Clark and the Indiana Fever a championship title. But will they achieve it? Guys, comment down below your thoughts on the latest trade with Sydney Colson. Again, all the pieces that the Indiana Fever have just acquired: Sydney Colson, re-signing Kelsey Mitchell, Natasha Howard, DeWanna Bonner, and now Sophie Cunningham. Will they win the 2025 championship?